All right, Black Monday is over. We survived. Today we're getting a little bit of a pop in the MPW share price. You love to see it. You hate to hear when your friends bailed out on the worst possible day, which would have been probably yesterday. Um, I do have a personal friend that decided to dump all his shares, and I'm like, hey, we've got a lot of stuff on the docket today with the steward bankruptcy. We've got possibly some developments on stewardship in the coming days. We have earnings on Thursday. What are you doing? But I'm not going to press the matter. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants with it. But me personally, this is sort of, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for some of these catalysts. And of course, it seems likely at this point in time, there will be some interest rate decreases in the coming weeks. So that would also be positive for REITs in general and MPW for sure with their debt loading. The ability to maybe refinance for a lower rate and that kind of thing would be positive. So here's what I'm hoping to hear about in earnings. We'll definitely want to see FFO that supports this dividend level, right? So one of the main things I hear or is asked of me every earnings, whenever I do a live stream of it, people pop in, did they say anything about the dividend? So definitely think they'll hold their cards close to their vest on the dividend like they've done the last couple quarters. And probably we just want to see that FFO supports the current dividend comfortably, and that they're not at risk of basically going negative on the cash that they're bringing in just to support the dividend. If the FFO is supporting the dividend, there's a pretty good chance that they just keep it at today's level. I've heard some speculation that they may start raising the dividend soon, but I'm going to say I'm in the camp of kind of doubting that. We have a 12.5% shareholder yield at today's price. The price would basically, I think, need to double at least before it would start making sense for them to think about paying or raising rather the quarterly dividend, because we would still be over a 6% yield when that time comes if the share price doubles. And that's kind of what a lot of REITs are paying at right now. I think realty income is probably around 5%. So MPW being like 6.5%, I think maybe then they might say, okay, well, if FFO supports it, maybe we, bump it up a penny or two along the way. But at this point in time, I think the volatility, the fact that they can't really realistically issue shares to raise capital, and they have to be careful with how they allocate their cash right now. So my personal money would be on them trying to hold the dividend steady at this level and let the steward bankruptcy situation fully play out. And then after that, once some of the operators have switched and they can put a lot of those facilities back into the stabilized portfolio, and we can get an idea of the new FFO situation, maybe they reevaluate and right size the dividend to that new stabilized portfolio. But right now, I think what they have to do is make sure that the dividend's right sized to the current stabilized portfolio, which excludes the steward and prospect facilities. So I don't see any major movement coming. I'm hoping no cut, not because a cut is necessarily the wrong move for them, but a cut would almost certainly cause the share price to plummet. So I think holding steady is probably the move for now. Just my personal take on the dividend there. Okay, so everybody's favorite aspect of this, and I'm like half joking, is the short interest. So there's 210 million shares sold short as of the present. That's about 35% of the float. What would make these guys run for the exits, either in the coming days or at earnings, whenever the information comes out? Like what nuggets would make them start to make their buttholes pucker, so to speak. I think positive news on bids for stewardship at a price that's somewhat good. I don't even think it has to be like amazing. I think it just has to be substantial and firm and, fair, and result in some cash flowing into this whole Chapter 11 thing going on with Steward. Next, I think, would be a somewhat positive resolution to the hospitals in Massachusetts. They're some of the worst positioned, from what it looks like, to get new operators at something that's reasonably good for MPW, unfortunately, and they're some of just the first that are up, so to speak. I think also, once we move on to hospitals that are better positioned, I believe the Florida portion of the Steward Hospital, Steward has like 30, 31 something. They have a lot of hospitals that they're leasing from MPW. Now, I think the Florida ones are considered to be much better, and I think there may be some in Texas as well. And I believe we move on to those hospitals where they're more attractive to operators. The rents commanded by a new operator might be higher, or if they're bought outright, like real estate and all, the prices will be better. That'll see MPT get a lot more money out of those deals. I think that'll give us a much clearer picture of what the overall Steward portfolio is going to end up looking like versus just these kind of crummy POS Massachusetts health system situations. Now, we're considering doing live coverage of earnings on Thursday, so make sure that you let me know below your interest level in that. The more interest I get, the more likely I am to actually do it. Make sure that you join the Discord, link in the description, and let me know if you're interested in participating in a live MPW roundtable on the 17th. We're looking for a number of different investors, different perspectives. Just want to talk about the stock generally. Obviously, more than a week will have passed since earnings by that point, but we may have more developments by then on some of the Steward stuff that's going on. So could be an interesting time there. Again, hop into Discord if you want to talk about maybe joining for that. You don't have to show your face if you're camera shy. Just audio is fine. My mug will be on display. That's fine. And again, comment below if you want that live earnings coverage. As always, I appreciate it when you like my videos for the algorithm, and when you subscribe. Help me grow my audience, get the word out. Joining the Discord is always welcome. Those who want to support directly can become channel members. I always appreciate that. When channel members make suggestions, I try to give them a little bit more of a priority on what kind of videos I make or what kind of coverage I do. Sometimes I'll, if I'm struggling for ideas of what stock to cover next, I'll look to the channel members. If they're posting something, great, I'll take it and run with it. So a lot of benefits come from that. Make sure also that you follow me on Twitter at Mr. Macho Mog. That one is very important, trying to get my first 500 followers there. As always, take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Maybe see you on Thursday at earnings.